Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into the U.S. contract security market.
Right?
We've got a great set of materials, a big white paper from September 2024 giving that national overview.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a profile on a Houston company, Reliable Security Plus. Seemed interesting.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Plus an article on Houston's population boom, another on Reliable's sort of operational approach, and their own market strategy doc.
Quite a bit to dig into.
Yeah, exactly. So the goal here is really to pull out the key insights, the main trends, what really matters in this industry right now without getting lost in the weeds. Sound good?
Sounds great. Let's jump in.
Okay, so setting the scene first. That 2024 white paper, it sounds like a pretty complex environment for security companies.
Oh, definitely. You've got increased crime concerns, geopolitical stuff humming in the background, and then the big economic factors, interest rates, inflation. It's a mix.
Right, the economy's been, well, volatile for everyone. But the paper mentioned something interesting, that security might actually weather a downturn okay, maybe even find an upside with labor costs.
Yeah, that's the theory.
Yeah.
The idea is if unemployment ticks up, maybe there's less pressure on wages, less overtime needed, maybe even lower turnover for the security firms themselves. So paradoxically, a bit of a slowdown could potentially ease some of their operating cost pressures, show some resilience.
That is an interesting angle. Okay, let's zoom in on that Houston company, Reliable Security Plus. Jalil De La Torre founded it. Their whole thing seems to be customer service-oriented protection.
Right. That phrase definitely stands out. It suggests they're trying to differentiate not just on presence, but on the quality of that presence, the reliability, the training.
So what do they actually do?
Well, it's pretty comprehensive for a regional player. They've got the standard uniformed officers, but also off-duty police officers.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, mobile patrols, executive protection too. And they're hitting residential, commercial, government clients, all focused there in the greater Houston area.
Which, as we know from that other article, is growing like crazy. Makes sense to focus locally then.
Exactly. That local service-first approach seems pretty smart given Houston's trajectory.
Okay, let's pull back to the national view. How big is this market we're talking about? Ballpark figures.
Sure. The white paper pegs the whole North American contract security market at about $37.8 billion for 2024.
Wow.
And the U.S. slice is the lion's share, around $34.5 billion.
Okay, and how does that break down? Is it mostly guards or?
Mostly guards, yeah. Man guarding makes up about $30.2 billion of that U.S. total. Technology services, things like monitoring systems, that's the other $4.3 billion.
Still a significant chunk for tech, though. And is the overall market growing, shrinking, flat?
It's growing. The estimate is about a 5% revenue increase.
Okay.
But here's the interesting part, that growth is mainly coming from higher billing rates, charging more per hour, essentially.
Ah, not necessarily more guards.
Exactly. The actual workforce, the number of security officers, only grew by about 2%. So maybe 870,000 employees total, spread across something like 8,000 companies.
So they're managing to increase revenue faster than headcount. That sounds like efficiency gains. Maybe technology playing a role.
That's definitely a big piece of the puzzle. The white paper really highlights this shift. Your big national, even international players, Allied Universal, Securitas, GardaWorld, they're not just guard companies anymore.
Right.
They're actively pushing into technology, remote monitoring, AI, even robotics, expanding the definition of security services.
It's kind of wild to think of traditional security firms deploying robots.
It is. But it's happening. And even the smaller regional outfits, they know they need to keep up. Maybe they aren't developing their own AI, but they're looking at partnerships, subcontracting, ways to bring tech into their offerings.
So Reliable Security Plus, are they doing that too?
It seems like it. Their materials mention using advanced surveillance systems, mobile apps. So yeah, they're embracing that trend too, trying to stay competitive.
Makes sense. You probably have to these days. Okay, let's talk money. What about profitability? Margins.
Right, so gross profit margins vary a bit. Smaller companies maybe average 16%. Regional players, a touch higher, say 17%.
Okay.
The big national and international firms, they tend to do better, over 18%. Allied Universal reports around 19%. Securitas is up near 22%.
And Borsigur's even higher.
Yeah, over 23%. And the thinking there is their significant investment in technology is likely boosting those margins. More efficient delivery, maybe higher value services.
Gotcha. And what about EBITDA, that sort of overall operating profit picture?
Generally, the industry average for EBITDA margins floats around 7–8%.
Okay, seems reasonable.
But the white paper notes that really efficient operators, especially ones managing lots of business with fewer physical offices, can push that much higher, sometimes 12% or more.
So operational leverage is key.
Absolutely. For Reliable Security Plus, their focus on service quality and good people in a hot market like Houston, that
Yeah.
could definitely play into their margin potential there.
Right. Okay, shifting gears a bit, mergers and acquisitions, what's the activity like? Is it a consolidating market?
Well, yes and no. There's been a lot of activity in related areas, systems integration, AI companies getting bought up.
Yeah,
That fits the technology theme.
makes sense.
But in terms of huge deals for just the traditional manned guarding businesses,
Mm.
fewer of those in the period the paper looked at.
Interesting. So the tech side is hotter for M&A than the core guard side. What about private equity? Are they interested?
Oh, yeah. PE firms definitely like the security sector.
Yeah.
It's seen as pretty recession-resistant,
Mhm.
stable demand.
Good point.
So valuations for the big companies are holding strong, maybe 8 to 10 times EBITDA.
Yeah.
Smaller bolt-on type acquisitions, more in the 5 to 7 times range.
Any notable deals mentioned?
Yeah, Sunstate Security partnered with Trilantic North America. That was a significant one in the man guarding space.
Okay.
And on the flip side, you had Paladin Group selling off its tech business to Bosch. Shows companies are making different bets, different strategies.
Right, not everyone's going all in on integrating everything. Okay, looking forward now. The white paper talks about tailwinds, things pushing the market forward. What are the big ones?
Probably the biggest one is the situation with public police forces. In many cities, they're stretched thin, maybe shrinking, while you have perceptions of rising crime.
Yeah, you hear about that a lot.
The paper mentions places like Chicago, Minneapolis. Private security is stepping in to fill gaps. And think about Houston. That article said it added the most people nationally last year.
Wow.
That kind of growth puts a strain on public resources.
Yeah.
So the demand for private security for a company like Reliable Security Plus, that's a huge built-in opportunity.
Makes total sense. What else is helping?
Well, remember the point about billing rates? Customers seem more willing to accept rate increases now. That's a big plus for profitability. And technology, while the big guys lead, the cost of some tech is coming down, making it more accessible for smaller players like Reliable to integrate.
Are there specific types of security seeing more demand?
Definitely. Armed security in schools is one area, especially in states like Texas after tragedies like Uvalde.
Right, sadly.
Reliable already offers off-duty police, so that fits.
Uh-huh.
Canine units are another hot area, apparently. Big growth there.
Canine. Interesting.
Yeah. And just the overall trend of companies thinking about outsourcing security they used to do in-house, that's a massive potential market.
Yeah.
Reliable could tap into in Houston.
Okay, so lots of positive drivers, but there are always challenges, right? What about the headwinds?
For sure. A big one is rising insurance costs.
Mhm.
Workers' comp, general liability, those premiums are going up, and that hits everyone's bottom line, Reliable included.
Ugh, insurance. Always.
Tell me about it. Another potential issue is predictive scheduling laws. It's mostly just Chicago right now, but if rules about setting schedules far in advance spread,
That could make staffing tricky.
could impact flexibility, costs, something to watch.
What about the broader economy? You mentioned inflation, interest rates earlier.
Exactly. Those are still headwinds. Uncertainty affects client budgets, makes borrowing more expensive for the security companies themselves, and, of course, competition.
Right. It's not just other guard companies anymore.
No. Reliable's competing with the big guys, other local firms, and increasingly technology solutions. The paper mentioned Evron Security Robots as an example.
Robots versus guards. Okay. So, pulling it all together for Reliable Security Plus in Houston, given these national trends, the tailwinds, the headwinds, how did they look positioned?
I'd say they look pretty well positioned, actually. That massive population growth in Houston, Harris County adding the most people.
Right.
It's just fundamental demand fuel.
Right. More people, more businesses, more need for security.
Exactly. And their whole philosophy, that customer service-oriented protection,
Mm.
focusing on quality personnel, that feels like the right approach for a growing, maybe more complex urban area. People want reliability.
Mm-hmm. And they're adopting tech too, you said.
Yeah, they're not ignoring that side. Advanced surveillance, mobile apps, it helps them offer more sophisticated solutions, compete better. Their own strategy documents seem to confirm they're leaning into those local dynamics and tech integration.
Okay. So, wrapping up this deep dive, if someone wants the bottom line on the U.S. contract security market and where a company like Reliable fits, what are the key takeaways?
I think the main things are It's a huge market. It's definitely evolving with technology and societal shifts, crime concerns, things like that.
Right.
The big national players are really pushing the tech integration, AI, remote stuff. But there's absolutely space for regional companies like Reliable Security Plus.
How so?
By really nailing customer service, focusing on quality people, and being smart about adapting to their specific local market needs, especially in a place like Houston with that growth and the public safety conversations happening, those local factors can be a real advantage.
That's a great summary. Ties the national picture to the local reality. Okay, final thought then, something to chew on.
Okay.
With private security becoming more common and technology like AI and robots becoming more integrated, how does the actual job of the security professional change in the next, say, 10 years? What skills become crucial when you're blending that human presence with all this tech?
Yeah. That's a big question. The intersection of people and technology and keeping things safe.
Yeah,
Definitely a lot more to explore there.
indeed. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.